going on, guys? This is the very unprofessional and unofficial rig rundown of Chris Fisher. It's me. And I am running a Squier Cabernita with the Fiddletrons from the guitar through a full tone cable. I think it's like an 8-foot cable that goes into a Wampler plex distortion, into an MXR prime distortion, into a Hughes & Kettner Tubemeister 18, which typically goes XLR out, but in this case it's going to go 18 watts into the Egnator 112. And then I'm going to go from the send of the effects loop to a TC Electronic Polytune 2, classic audio volume roller knob, TC Electronic Flashback, Yo-Yo Tremolo, TC Electronic Hall of Fame Reverb, and a TC Electronic Ditto Looper. And the Hughes & Kettner Tubemeister stays on the gain channel at 100% volume, and gain is about noon. Treble and mids are about 1:30, 2 o'clock. The bass is at 12 o'clock, and this is full on, no distortion pedals, but just straight up full amp, full guitar, good old fashioned A chord. Might sound a little muffled or compressed because it's through a phone on Facebook or YouTube, whichever one I put this on, that has a case on it, which is also muffled. The microphone is muffled slightly by the stand that it's on. So anyway, bear with that, but this is about what it sounds like at typical full volume when we're driving. There you have it. I keep it on the drive channel because I'm typically using my volume knob on my guitar to go from clean to drive. Get away from there, both of you. Both of you. Told you, unprofessional. Get away. Alright, on to the Wampler plex distortion. Also, I typically play with my fingers, but when I am using a pick, it is the Jazz 3, I believe. By Jim Dunlop. That's the one I like, and I like the textured ones, so they're a little more difficult to find. Most of them have the solid ones, but I like the textured ones. Anyway, when I want to cut through the mix, I turn on the plex distortion and prime distortion, I'll use that a little bit later, but I'll play it now. It's got a little more kick to it, so it kind of makes a feedback whenever I got my amp or my speaker plugged in. Not so much whenever I've got just the amp into an XLR, but this is it. So it's about at the same volume, but it's a little more harsh sounding. And there's a reason for it. I'll do that later. Next up is the classic audio volume roller knob. And no, there are no balance issues. I just throw my foot on there. I have a video on YouTube, but basically when you're going down, start with the heel. When you're going up, start with your toes, and you have no problems. I'm not wobbling all over the place. It's just simple, very comfortable. Start here, roll up there, roll down, and it's very responsive, very nice. So, actually, I'll go ahead and do the distortion thing now. I like to play high gain sounds with low volume. So I'll get it about right here. So it's got that nice distortion sound, just at a very low volume. Which works well for things like this. Kind of gives it that little orchestral ambient-ish sound. So that's usually the main reason for that. On to the flashback. I've almost always got it on the tone print setting for The Real Deal. I'm sorry, The Real Thing by Stephen Sharp. It's a tape delay that has a little more warble than the onboard tape. I usually have it on the dotted 8. Sometimes I go to coordinate note. So I get a little more where you can hear the warble. I also have it set up to where it feeds back into itself whenever I go into the quarter and dotted 8. This is a neat little trick if you want to have just like some weird trotting infinite delay going. It just kind of feeds over into itself. It's not quite oscillating, but it does feed back into itself. And the way I've done that, I think this works on pretty much every stereo type pedal, but I go from the whatever pedals before it into the stereo input, and then stereo output back into the mono input to the mono output to your next pedal. So you can really hear it just keep on going. And if I turn the feedback up, it'll stay going forever, no matter what it's on. It doesn't have to be analog or tape or digital or anything like that. So onward to the next pedal. It's the Yo-Yo Tremolo, which is a very cheap tremolo because I don't use it very often. It's a nice tremolo. pretty much only use that for when I'm wanting to play Money by Pink Floyd and Mighty Warrior by one of those church bands. So anyway, that's that. Not much to it. And then to the Hall of Fame reverb. Let's see, the decay is pretty high here. I usually have it on short decay, or delay time, I guess, pre-delay, there we go. And I almost always have it on a Hall setting. It can be a nice, quick reverb. It's not quite spring, but it works. And they can also get very spacey, very quick. This is just the onboard Hall reverb. Still going, nice reverby. Then once you turn on the delay with it, just kind of, I just go for a coffee break and the guitar plays itself. And then for my tone print reverb, when I want to get weird and ambient, this is the Clouds tone print. Forget who makes it, but it's actually more for a bass. Past delay, or if you're at past noon, it makes for a nice decayed sound, and it's pretty much 100% wet, maybe like 99% wet. So it'll just last for a long time. Got that, and then if you take it before noon, it gives it a modulation chorusy feel.
Go upstairs, okay?
So I'm not a huge fan of modulation, but it's there. So, and that is pretty much my rig rundown. Oh, well, I mean, for the Ditto, typically what I usually do is get it started, just kind of have it go, because you have to be very precise on pretty much every looper, but the Ditto is like very quick. So I try not to do anything that's just crazy precise unless I'm the only guitarist and just have to, which I kind of become the metronome for that song. But what I'll do is right now it's recording nothing. But as soon as I'll play like something in D, I'll swell. And I'll swell another note that's within D, but that complements the other chords. That way it's not a big deal. So now I've got two notes looping into each other. I got three going on. That. If I want to do some more of that ambient kind of distorted stuff, let's say I'll do this little number here, like I'm playing 17th fret on the B string. I'm just going to rub it like this. So I got all that going. Now it's not gonna record any more loop stuff, but I can now play in the key of D. nice little background stuff. You can just hear the woo kind of stuff. And then when I'm done with it, I can either turn it down, make it ease out, or just double tap and it's done. Hold it down, it clears out. So, all right. All of my effects, or I say all of mine, the delay and the reverb are buffered bypass for the sole purpose of I like to kind of play two guitars at once. So I'll do something like this. It has a nice long reverb decay. So you got that going. I'll go. So got that reverb and it trails off. Even whenever I turn it off, it's still trailing. So. Still going. Same thing with delays. So there. And that is pretty much me.